Hello, beautiful. How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great. I'm doing so good, even though, I'm kind of holed up. And sometimes we have to be forced to be still, because I run busy, 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 busy from the moment my feet touch the floor till late at night, usually. And so, me injuring my ankles actually been a good thing. I'm forced to be still and know that He is God and just rest in Him and His love. So it's really been good. And you can see behind me the sun is shining and it's amazing. I'm not going to hold the phone up too high because you're going to see. You ever do this? I do this stuff all the time where you either forget a load in the washer and it turns sour, or my washer wasn't working right and so it wasn't like pulling all the water out, so I put everything out on the deck to dry and then forgot about it and it rained. Oh yeah, so there's a bunch of laundry behind me. You can't see that got soaked. It's all good. So we're going to continue to talk about hope to the hurting heart, and we were talking about God's amazing usability paradigm and what He's looking for in a resume. And it was humility, emptying of yourself, and then heart. So we're going to talk about heart today. This is so good. We get to talk about one of my favorites. We're going to talk about David, King David, and God's obviously fond of him. He calls him a man after his own heart. And I'm going to discuss about, why not do it now? I was going to go to 1 Samuel first, but David, do you ever ask the Lord when you read stuff and you don't understand in the Bible? I do. I ask Him, I'm like, why did you clean up the stories of David and Abraham and others that you love? Like, there's no mention of, in the New Testament, Abraham, that he blew it many times. I mean, he lied about Sarah being his wife, saying he was just her sister. He slept with Hagar, and they produced an Ishmael instead of waiting for Isaac. I mean, and there's no mention of that in the New Testament. It's like, against all hope, and hope Abraham believed. And then same with David. He says in the New Testament, he's a man after his own heart, and he is. But there's no mention of, the adultery, and the murder of Bathsheba's husband on the, that he orchestrated on the battlefield. So I asked him, I said, how come, And this is good news for us. Are you ready for this? He said, because in 1 Corinthians 13 it says love keeps no records of wrong. God is love. He keeps no records of wrong. So when He forgives your transgressions, He blots them out. He remembers them no more. And so you're not known by your behavior or your sins. You're known as His beloved because of what He's done for you. Is that not amazing? I love that. So anyways, let's go back to early King David about the heart and how God chose him. So God goes to Samuel, and he's the prophet, and He said, I want you to go to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, and I want you to anoint the one I chose you out of his sons, and he's going to be the new king. Okay, and so Samuel goes there, and Jesse puts all of his sons before him, and the first one he sees, I think it's Eliab. He's the oldest one, and he's like looking like he's it. I mean, he's got it. He's in the gym every day. He's looking buff. He's tall. He's got the stature that everybody looks at him, and he's got the it factor. Like he's it. And so Samuel goes, surely this has got to be the one. Get me the anointing oil. And God's like, hold up. That's not it. And he kept doing it. Let's see how many. He kept putting all of his sons before him. Let's see. Seven of his sons. He kept putting before him, and God's going, not it. And so finally he's like, do you have any more sons anywhere? And he's like, oh, well, if you count David, I mean, he's the youngest, and he's out there with the sheep. So he was isolated from his family. Obviously, they didn't think very much of him. They didn't even bring him out as one of the sons to consider. And then Samuel goes, get him. We're not moving. We're not eating. We're not anointing till you get him and bring him here. So they went and fetched David, and God said, that's my man. He didn't look like much. He was young, he was little. But you know what? When he was back there, it was him and the sheep and God. David, read the Psalms. David had a heart to know God. He looked up at the stars and he's like, I want to know you. I want to know the God that made all of this. You're amazing. So that's such good news for us, how God sees us. And so listen, this is what he said to Samuel about heart. He said, God doesn't see as man sees. Man judges by the outward appearance. Man looks at the package, right? Man, that's why there's billions of dollars spent on this outward thing. But God is saying, I don't look at that. He's not looking at the size of your waist, your thighs, nothing else. He's looking at the size of your heart and the capacity of your heart to want to know him. And you can be as close to God as you want to be. And you can be a man or woman after God's own heart. So go for it. Go for it. He loves you so much. You're amazing. So stop disqualifying yourself. He's choosing you. He's making you something spectacular. I love you. Love someone well and you will change the world. Shalom.